Excuse me?
Yes. Cool. Oh, perfect. So, good. Wait, I need to share my screen first from here.
Hmm?
I need to first start the video. Wait. Oh, I need
Video's
to
there.
invite people. Okay, that's why. We're doing some hacking because some reasons. Let me share my. Oh, cool. That's.
What's me?
Oh, why is it showing the webcam? Oh, fuck, I closed the window. Do this again. All right.
It's a Google Doc?
Yeah,
You could have just done it with the bit.ly thing.
but then I need to do demos that are using my browser.
Okay.
Does it work? All right, welcome everyone. That's kind of a fun hack that I just did. First time I do that, where I'm basically sharing my screen on my laptop with the presentation laptop so that it displays here. So if it works all the way, that's going to be crazy. But thanks for being here. So I think this is one of the last calls of the conference. So let's make it chill. Feel free to ask questions even during the presentation. Interrupt me at any point. It's the end of the conference. We're all getting sick anyway, so let's just chill. Cool? All right. My name is Julien Genestoux. I am French, even though I live in New York. I haven't been in Paris in 3.5 years, so it feels good to be here. And I'm going to tell you about a big change that I think needs to happen on the web. We need to move away from the idea of monetizing through attention and monetize through what I call membership. And I think this is very good and healthy, and I explain why. And I think actually Ethereum is the perfect platform to make that change happen. And that's what my company Unlock has been doing for the last 1.5 years at this point. Cool? All right. I'm going to start talking about the virus, obviously, because that's the theme. Last week, I found this tweet from the New York Post, which I think some of you may know is a publication out of New York that is fairly populist on the right side of things. And they wrote a story that basically says, don't buy the China story. The coronavirus may have leaked from a lab. Obvious clickbait. That whole story, if you read it, I actually went through that, is all about what if maybe they did, or what would happen if they did. It's not a real story. There is no journalism work behind it. There is no actual investigation. There is no knowledge about this. The whole reason why this story exists is to get the likes and the retweets by thousands of people. In that world, basically, the New York Post, which is a newspaper, fairly old actually, and which should have been kind of a venerable way to counterbalance states, including China, put me in a situation where, as a user, I actually don't know what the truth is. Did China leak the virus, or did New York Post just respond to incentives, which mean that they write story to get clickbaits and attention and not really facts or truth about the story. I'm sure this has happened to you a lot. Everything we read at this point on social networks is all about confusion, very little about facts and truth, because the whole incentive for people creating content is to attract your attention. That makes sense? So I think that's actually a pretty bad situation that's visible across many different things. Obviously, we can talk about this, but if you think generally about information overload, this thing that we've been talking about on the web for like 20 years, where it's like, oh, there's just too much content. The reason why there's too much content is because content creation is mostly free at this point. And so the more content you create, the more eyeballs you can capture, and the more revenue that you'll make. It's not about creating interesting or useful things, it's just about creating more things that people will click on randomly, maybe oftentimes. The economy is obviously, the attention economy is obviously bad and creates all of these challenges. And we can talk about information overload, clickbait, fake news, awful UX. Like we've all been to websites that have millions of pop-ups going up and down and moving the content. I'm actually going to do a demo that involves that later on. Maybe more importantly, and that's kind of the New York Post thing, involves distrust. Like when we used to trust media or at least some organization to provide us with information that the states, the governments would not give us, now we're in a situation where we actually don't know who's telling the truth and why they'd be telling the truth. People are reacting to that by adding ad blockers, and that I was actually at the Brave presentation a couple of minutes ago, and I think it's a fair response from users, but at the same time that means that the very few creators that are actually trying to make things right do not get paid anymore, because that's how they get paid, through ads. Generally, and I think this is a big theme here in France as well, the GAFA, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple are everywhere and actually control the traffic and the distribution of content, as well as the ad revenues in the case of Google and Facebook, and that's obviously a big challenge. The thing you don't see is the privacy laws here. It's obviously happening as well in Europe and in the US. GDPR makes it harder and harder for the legit creators or to collect information that they will need to monetize their content. So basically, that attention economy that we've built over the last 20 years is putting us in big trouble. One point that Ben made a couple of minutes downstairs is also that we assumed that ads were the way to get free content. Like, all right, I'm not paying for this because there's ads, and ads are the thing that actually subsidize the content. The point that he makes, which I think is very true, is actually we pay for ads. We pay for ads first in the form of bandwidth. Almost half of the bandwidth in the US is spent by advertisers when you go to a large publisher site. So when you think about this, the bandwidth, you actually pay for this via your ISP, it's something that costs you. The battery usage is something that also costs you. Like that power, you have to, at some point, plug your phone again. The increasing performance needs of your devices are also oftentimes due to the fact that the websites are adding more and more ads, more and more tracking that end up consuming more and more CPU. This all costs money to us. So we pay to not pay content, which is kind of crazy. Obviously, another world is possible, and that's the idea of what I call the membership economy. Over the last 15 years, we've slowly seen kind of a move away from, in some cases, away from free content. One of the most obvious examples is obviously Spotify. We can see here with the daily podcast. Back in 2009, Spotify started to charge for music. I don't know if you remember these days, I do, but at the time, all of my friends, actually, I was also doing this, were just pirating music. And at some point, music was free, like nobody would pay for any kind of music anymore. But slowly, we started to see the switch from like, hey, you know what, if we provide a good interface, we provide an easy way to pay for music, then people will start to pay for music, and that's going to make things easier. Like that, okay. So if you make it easy to pay, people will pay for things. That also happened in the movie industry. The state of TV 7-10 years ago, in the US at least, was abysmal. Nobody was watching TV anymore because of the million of ads. And then something like Netflix started to arrive, and people pay a subscription to Netflix, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 bucks. It's actually increasing a lot a month. And now they get good content that is produced directly by Netflix and that people tend to enjoy. And they're not interrupted every 15 minutes by a new ad, a new commercial through the stream. So this move toward paid content is obviously happening. It's also visible through things that are maybe less obvious, but things like Patreon. I'm sure you guys know of Patreon, as they call it here in French. Patreon is a platform where creators can go to and kind of create their own membership for their fans and sell access to their work. So like I'm a painter, I would sell my paintings to my closest friend and say, hey, you come to my Patreon, you support me, and then you can access my work or my music or my pictures, any of these things. Or developers actually tend to use that more and more. Other platforms like Substack in the email world, which is actually very used in crypto. I'm sure some of you are subscribed to a few newsletters by some of the most prominent crypto advocates, I'd say, or maximalists in some words we can say, are using Substack. And Substack is just a kind of membership where as a user, I decide to be part of the group that is going to get an email from that user. It's coming everywhere. It's also maybe more obviously coming from on the paywall side of things. If you go to any newspaper in the US at this point, mostly in France and pretty everywhere in the world, they're moving toward this paywall model where people need to pay to read more than 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 articles a month. Sometimes actually exclusive content only. Wall Street Journal is an example of this, where you actually have no content that is not behind the paywall. Other newspapers go for a kind of a mixed-in approach, where some content is 100% free forever, and some other content is 100% paid forever. Business Insider is an example of that. So that model of being part of the group, supporting the group, being part of embracing the mission in some way, is something that's emerging and that we're seeing everywhere. The challenge, though, is that each of these membership are siloed on the platform on which they happen, and they're not interoperable in any way. It's almost like you would have to create a different app for every single website. Here, you have to create a different membership for every single website. As a user, that means that I have to sign up everywhere, put my password everywhere, different password hopefully everywhere, or use a password manager, then put my credit card number on every single website, and should anything happen to my card, then I would have to change it everywhere. I have to do the same thing on my mobile phone, because again, I have to sign in on every single website and do that over and over again. That friction is outrageous. Like if you think about this, it's just never going to be able to work for more than 1 or 2 different websites in the world. Make sense so far? So quick realization, this is hard for consumers, this is hard for publishers. Unlock makes it easy for people. We're building a protocol, just a simple way for any person to deploy a lock, which is a membership, and then put that on their website. Let's do a quick demo. Back in December, we launched on a website called Forbes.com, which is actually a very ugly website. Don't tell them I said this, with 1 million of ads. So that view is actually the mobile view, but see that? That's an ad. That's crazy, right? Like all of the screen. And if you go on your phone, that's an ad. And I keep scrolling, and that's a giant ad. And it's kind of the worst experience. When I'm reading this, it's like, oh, I'm going to be lost all the way. So what they introduced is a membership to unlock an ad-free experience. And if I can find the button again, because these ads keep moving, I'll be able to show you. So what they did is added a little bit of JavaScript to their page that basically says, hey, if the visitor is a member to Forbes, they should not see ads for a week or a month. And I'm going to do that right in front of you. Hopefully that's going to work. Demo effect, usually full force, but let's try. Click on that button. Now Forbes say, hey, you've got 2 options. One of the options is to purchase that membership with 0.052 ETH, which is roughly $1.20. Kind of a mistake that they made here, but we'll talk about this later. And the other option is to purchase for a month for 4 times that price. I'm going to go for the week here, because I'm cheap. So clicking here, my MetaMask is going to pop up, because I'm using MetaMask in that browser, but if I was using, say, Opera on my mobile device, same experience. Forbes doesn't know anything about me. I don't have a Forbes account. I don't have anything special here. MetaMask is popping up saying, hey, do you want to give them, oh, wow, gas prices are high today. Do you want to give them like $1.20 plus 35 cents to the Ethereum miners so that you get the ad-free experience? I'm going to say yes. But please be careful. Watch this closely. The ads will go away immediately as I do that. I'm going to click confirm, and demo effect. The ads didn't go away, but they will, I guess. Oh, wow. Double fail. Let's refresh. This is not an ad, so technically that actually worked. It was kind of disappointing, but you would have seen a huge banner at the top, the banner here on the bottom, and you see no more ads in the content. I'm not sure why we didn't see that in real time, but that actually worked. What I did here is like purchase an ad-free experience, and immediately they're providing me with the ad-free experience because I did purchase so. We do what we call optimistic. So that transaction has not, well, it has been mined now, had not been mined at the time. We just basically look at how likely the transaction is to be mined. If it's likely enough, we'll just provide the ad-free experience in that context. So we'll just say, tell Forbes like, hey, that user has paid, just give them access to the ad-free experience. Cool? Any question about that? Go ahead. Exactly. So we actually look at this, like how much gas you spend and how long it's likely to take. If it's going to take too much time, we'll not do optimistic in that case. Same, if you try to double spend, we actually immediately lock back saying, hey, you double spend this, you're trying to cheat your way, and so there's no reason why you would get the ad-free experience. But let's face it, though. What we're trying to optimize here is not for fraud. Like, basically, the thing that's costing revenue to creators is not people cheating. It's just the fact that it's incredibly hard to actually do anything to unlock content on the website. Like, I did not create an account of Forbes. I did not put my credit card number. I'm just going to that website kind of very casually, click on a button, confirming in my wallet, and that's it. I'm done. I don't have to provide any information. And that frictionless experience is a lot more valuable to them than kind of reducing the little fraud that they might have where somebody's kind of cheating their way into that. Make sense? Cool. Transaction has been mined. Let's go check it out on EtherScan, so you're going to see how it looks. So on EtherScan, you can see that it was sent from my address, obviously, to the lock's address. So it's a smart contract that Forbes deployed. It's theirs. It's not mine. I can't touch it. And then I received some token, which is interesting. Oh, I actually paid for this. You can see here the $1.20 or the 0.052 ETH, and then the gas, which is actually slightly less than what I anticipated I would pay. And then a token was transferred. That token was transferred from 000, which pretty means that it was actually created. It's a new token, and was sent to me, my address. You can see it's the same address here and here. And that token is, as you can see, an ERC721. That's a non-fungible token. So that, for the people that were here in the previous presentation, that's the same kind of token that a CryptoKitty is. It's a unique token that's mine, that is kind of my member's card to Forbes in that case. And it's mine. I can do whatever I want with it. Every time I can go to Forbes.com, now they will check my wallet, and if they see that I have the token, they will not show me ads. That said, this NFT is like any other NFT. It's actually transferable. I can take it and give it to somebody else, or sell it to somebody else maybe even, and that person then in that case would be the member. I'm not a member anymore. Does that make sense? So for an ad-free experience, I don't think that's that useful, but think about like the number of times where you subscribe to something and after a couple of weeks like, not used or not interested in this anymore. What if I could actually sell it? The best example that I can think all of the time is like your HBO subscription after Game of Thrones was done. It's like you're stuck with it. If you had a way to kind of put it back on the market saying, hey, somebody get it from me, I'm going to sell it for like $1, $5, I think that's something that a lot of people would do in that case. Make sense? And that's possible with Unlock. Another thing that's possible with Unlock, even though it's a non-fungible token, it's something that's splittable. So my week-long membership to Forbes is actually 7 days worth of membership to Forbes. And so what I could do here is like give someone 1 day of ad-free experience and then keep 6 for myself. So for an ad-free stuff, I don't think that's very useful, but think about a paywall article, right? Like I'm a subscriber to Le Monde in France, and I'm sharing a link with my friend, and my friend's like, oh, it's a paywall article, I can't read it. What I could do here is like, all right, I'll give you the link, and I'll give you 10 minutes worth of my membership so you can read it now. And my friend can actually read that article off of my time, which I think is something pretty useful and pretty cool. Cool? All right, let's go back to working on this. Oh, actually, maybe I'll show you OpenSea. You guys know what OpenSea is, a platform for non-fungible tokens. And I can go to my items, and you'll see that in my wallet, I do actually have a bunch of Forbes stuff because I'm making a lot of demos with their stuff. And I click here, and you can see that I've got several subscriptions. These are for 1 week, and the one that I purchased, I think, is this one. It's probably the most recent one. And if somebody has an address right now that they can shout, yep, 4 minutes ago it was minted, I can happily give them the Forbes membership using that feature. So far, so good? Any question at this point? Go ahead. Yes, let's keep moving on because that's coming later. Cool? All right. I was just saying membership on non-fungible token, they're on Forbes. Let's do a fun thing together. What I hacked quickly earlier this week, a small website, which I'm going to send you to if you have your laptop or phones with you right now. It's called, so that URL, can you read? EthCC. Oh, actually. All right, EthCC-chat.glitch.me. EthCC, EthCC-chat, chat.glitch, glitch.me. And that website is a quick website that I hacked earlier this week. It's a chat room. And basically, it's a chat room that's locked, where only the people that have a ticket to the conference can come. Let's step back a little bit. Some of you came to the conference and purchased a ticket using crypto. It happened that this ticket was actually an unlocked ticket. A membership to a conference is a ticket. I'm a member of Forbes, but I can also be a member of EthCC, and a member of EthCC means that I can come and attend some of the speaking slots here. So what you did when you purchased your ticket for EthCC, you actually purchased a membership through Unlock for EthCC. That lock is a smart contract deployed on the Ethereum chain, like the Forbes one, and it's also reusable. And I completely independently of the EthCC people, if you're here in the room, hey, that's fun, deployed a website on which I put the same lock and say, hey, only the people that came to the conference can actually come to that site. And that's this site here. So let's make a quick demo. And so basically, I need to join to be a participant. Here, to join, MetaMask is not popping, second time. Annoying. All right, let's do it again. Yay, okay, it's swapping. So to be part of that chat room, I would need a ticket. And actually, EthCC sold 2 batches of ticket. Ones were with Sai because it started before the migration, and the next batch was in DAI. So if you have a ticket, you can actually access this. This account that I'm trying doesn't have a ticket, but I'm going to toggle to another account that actually has a ticket here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to purchase a ticket in Sai, so you'll see this. So I'm purchasing this, another ticket to the conference, which are not that useful, but anyway, I'm spending $10 for them. Immediately, you'll see that I've unlocked that website, and now I say, oh, thanks for being a member, because I'm a member of the conference. What's your nickname? My nickname is Julien. And so I'm putting here, and I'm going to say, hey, hello. That locked again. Oh my God. What's going on here? It's going to work. Yeah, Julien. Enter. Cool. Hello. First person that actually comes to chat room, authenticates with their wallet that they've used to get a ticket to the conference, gets a unlock hoodie here. All right. Yes, the URL is EthCC, EthCC -chat, CHAT, .glitch, GLITH, .me, M-E. Should work with MetaMask with any Web3 wallet that you might have on your phones. You can even pick your size. Sorry, what?
Glitch with a C, yeah?
Are you on that page right here?
Oh, someone's there.
Yay. All right, Jora, you win the, come see me at the end, you can pick your hoodie. Does that make sense what we did here? We took that smart contract that EthCC deployed and say, hey, you know what, that membership is cool. I'm going to give access, special access to some members of the conference here. And these members can come to the chat room and participate in here. All right? Make sense? Let's do something else now. You were asking about creating a lock. Oh, you left already? You could have stayed. It's fine, don't worry. It's fine. Let's actually now create another lock that we'll put on that page. Because, I mean, some people here might not have purchased their ticket with crypto. They're using their bank account or the credit card. But let's still invite them to the chat room. For this, we're going to create another lock, and we'll put that other lock as an option on that page. So I'm using the unlock dashboard. I'm not sure you can see very well, but that's basically a tool that anybody can use to deploy their own lock, their own smart contract, their own membership in that way. And maybe I'm going to make this bigger so you can read this faster. Is this more legible-ish? OK, cool. So I'm going to click on that button, create a button, and I'm going to say EthCC chat, right? That's basically just for this. Let's make it valid for, you know what, 1 day. Let's make, we can actually limit the number of members that we want to have. Let's say we want to create some FOMO and say, hey, only the first 100 people can come. So I'm going to create some FOMO here and say, all right, let's create 5. Short. And let's make it free so that it doesn't have to be something that you guys pay for. So it's actually going to be using Ether and 0. I'm going to submit here. MetaMask is going to pop up. MetaMask is going to pop up, yes. And ask me if I want to deploy this. There's a quick bug here. It's actually going to be much cheaper than that in terms of gas. It should be about like 20 cents. So I'm creating that transaction now. And we'll have to wait now for a couple of seconds for that lock to be deployed. Even though we have the address. Actually, we can already do that. But let's check on EtherScan. So the lock is being deployed by me, obviously, and we'll wait for this. But in the meantime, I'm going to take that address, which is the address at which the lock is going to be deployed. We use create2, which I think you guys know of, that allows us to kind of guess, not guess, actually know what the address is going to be. And I'm going to go back to Glitch, which is this fantastic no-code application, so I can update the lock address. So you'll see how that EthCC chat application is made. It's a very dumb JavaScript application that's hosted on that website called glitch.me, which is actually pretty cool for anyone doing web development. And what I'm going to do here is go into the JavaScript of that application. Please ignore most of that. It's ugly and gross, and I wrote this very fast. But oh, the lock has been deployed. Let's check it out afterwards. And I'm going to end up on the unlock configuration blob. It's a little blob of JavaScript that I put on my page that say, hey, I'm going to lock content on that page for members that have a key to this. I'm going to add a third address here because there's already two for the two types of locks, the tickets, the SCI and the DAI one, and we're going to add that new one that we just deployed. So pasting that address here, adding no option. There's a bunch of options that I could put. And Glitch actually has this cool feature that it also saves. And so now, hopefully, I'll be able to click on going back to this, you'll see that my lock has actually been deployed. You see here, it actually cost me 46 cents, so slightly less than the 5 that we're initially showing. And if I go back to the little chat room, I'm going to toggle account because that account has already a membership, so it will not see the prompt to become a member again. But let's assume I'm using account 5, which doesn't even have ETH. Wow, that's weird. But basically, I'll refresh that page because I'm not a member with that account, so I cannot access the content. This time when I click on the button, I'm starting to be very frustrated. All right, let's do this again. Click on the button. Nope, dismiss. Why does it work on dismiss? You can see that now that other lock, that other membership has been added to the options. I've added the option of 0 ETH, which is the one that I just created for the EthCC chat, and that account doesn't have enough funds, so we'll toggle to another account that has enough funds. And now you can go there, and for the people that actually did not purchase your ticket with crypto, you can go there and pay just for gas to get access to that chat room with me here. Actually, this is already a member. Let's find an account. This one should not be a member. Maybe it is, actually. No, it's not. Cool. Ah, damn it. All right. And I can purchase my EthCC membership, or EthCC chat membership here. This time. Okay, makes sense. I'm going to pay for this right away. And you'll see that now I can say Julien cheap. And yay, hey Bogdan. Hey Cuckoo. Cool. Make sense? So you were asking how to deploy your lock. You see that was actually fairly simple. It's a smart contract. Once it's deployed, it belongs to whoever deployed it. We can't touch it. We can't change it. We can't upgrade it. We can't do anything with it. It's yours, not ours. There's a bunch of parameters that you can set. And basically, that's useful here. Unlock, in practice, is a protocol for membership. Can be used for paywalls, as we've seen with Forbes, can be used by applications, as we've seen with the chat room, can be used for conferences, as we've seen with EthCC, but can also be used in any other context. You say, hey, you're a musician, you want to give discounts to your closest fans. You say, hey, purchase my NFT, become a member of my fan club, and then when you go to my Shopify swag store, you get a discount on my t-shirts or my hats, or maybe my CDs. You also get discounts on my concert next time, this kind of things. Cool? All right, I think I'm actually left with 1 minute, so I'm going to give that minute back to you guys for questions. No questions. Take it. Nope. No fee for developers to deploy. Let me actually, thanks. Yes, no fee for developers to deploy. Unlock doesn't take any fee on this. The reason for this is because we do think that most people will actually not have a crypto wallet, at least in the early days. You guys all have crypto wallets, I hope. But most people out there don't. In this case, we actually allow them to unlock with credit card, and this time we take a fee on the credit card transaction. I can show you how that works. What's interesting about this is, like, as a user, I would pay with my credit card, and I pay Unlock Inc., so not Unlock the protocol, we pay Unlock Inc., the company, to make the transaction on-chain on my behalf. And this way, we'll charge you a little bit on your credit card to perform that transaction. Any other questions?
I think with this question, we'll be right on time.
Okay, perfect. How do you split the NFT? Like you said, like for 1 day, for instance.
So right now you would have to use EtherScan, which sucks. We split it in time, basically. So each NFT has an expiration date. That's what it's unique. That expiration date is timestamp in seconds. And so when you split it, you basically remove some seconds from the first one and add seconds to the next one, basically. Make sense? One cool thing that we didn't mention about this, which I'm actually extremely excited, publishers, when they allow for people to transfer or split their membership, they can say, hey, you know what? We're going to monetize that secondary market. We're going to say, hey, I can give you 1 minute or maybe 1 hour. But the publishers say, if you do so, we want also that you give us back 10 seconds or 10 hours. in that way, they basically reduce the available membership aggregate into something smaller, which means that I'll renew mine or you'll renew yours earlier. Cool. All right. Thank you very much. I'm happy to answer a question and give you your hoodie. Joe is gone. All right. Well, I guess he's gone. All right. Thank you very much.